In the heart of ancient Mesopotamia, a city rose that seemed to challenge the very heavens. Babylon, walls towering like mountains, gleaming bronze gates, hanging gardens that looked as if they floated among the clouds, a paradise built by human hands. At the center of it all, on an elevated throne, seated among lions of gold, reigned Nebuchadnezzar, King of kings, Lord of nations, an invincible conqueror. His word was law, his armies unstoppable, his glory seemed eternal. But no human empire can stand against the God who rules over all the kingdoms of men. This is the true story of a king who rose to the peak of power and fell into the deepest humiliation, from pride to absolute madness, from madness to restoration by the mercy of the Most High. A story the Bible records to warn us. Pride comes before the fall, but the one who humbles himself before God will be lifted up. The walls of Babylon stood tall, reflecting the sun like liquid gold. Watchtowers on guard, soldiers in perfect formation, the Euphrates River winding through the city like a vein of life and power. Inside the royal palace, Nebuchadnezzar walked along the hanging terraces, admiring his work. His eyes shone with satisfaction. Who is like me? Who can challenge me? But in the midst of so much glory, there were shadows. Conquered peoples wept in silence. Among the captives from Judah, 4 young Hebrews stood out: Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, renamed Belteshazzar, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They served in the palace, but they would not bow to the gods of Babylon. Their God was the Lord of heaven. One night, the king's sleep was shaken by a terrifying dream. He woke up drenched in sweat, heart pounding. The images haunted him, but he couldn't remember them clearly. Enraged, he summoned all the magicians, astrologers, sorcerers, and wise men of the kingdom. Tell me the dream I had and its interpretation. If you cannot, you will be cut to pieces, and your houses will be turned into piles of rubble. The wise men trembled. O king, tell us the dream, and we will interpret it. But Nebuchadnezzar roared, You're stalling for time. Tell me the dream first, so I know you're not lying. Panic spread. No man could do such a thing. The decree went out. All the wise men of Babylon were to be executed, including Daniel and his friends. When Daniel learned of the sentence, he asked the king for time and said to his companions, Let us pray to the God of heaven. Only he reveals deep mysteries. That night, in a vision, God revealed the dream and its meaning to Daniel. At dawn, Daniel was brought before the throne. The king stared at him suspiciously. Are you able to tell me my dream and interpret it? Daniel answered humbly, No human wise man can, O king, but there is a God in heaven who reveals secrets. He has shown you what will happen in the days to come. The hall fell into absolute silence. Daniel continued, You saw a great statue, massive and majestic, a head of pure gold, chest and arms of silver, belly and thighs of bronze, legs of iron, feet partly iron and partly clay. Then a stone was cut out, but not by human hands, and it struck the feet of the statue, crushing it to pieces. The wind carried the dust away, and the stone became a great mountain that filled the whole earth. Nebuchadnezzar's eyes widened. He leapt to his feet. That's it! That was the dream! Daniel went on, You, O king, are the head of gold. God has given you kingdom, power, strength, and glory. After you will come another kingdom, inferior, silver, then a third, bronze, then a fourth, strong as iron, that will crush all the others. But the feet mixed, iron and clay, show divided kingdoms that will not hold together. In the days of those kings, the God of heaven will set up an eternal kingdom that will never be destroyed. The stone is that kingdom. It will destroy all the others and stand forever. Nebuchadnezzar fell face down. Truly, your God is the God of gods and the Lord of kings. He promoted Daniel to governor and gave high positions to his friends. For a moment the king acknowledged the power of the Most High. But pride, oh, pride still burned in his heart like a hidden fire. Months later, on the plain of Dura, Nebuchadnezzar built a colossal statue, entirely of gold from head to toe, 90 cubits high, blazing in the sunlight. It was his response to the dream. I will not be only the head. My kingdom will be pure gold, eternal. He summoned governors, officials, peoples, and nations. Heralds proclaimed, when the trumpet, flute, harp, and all kinds of music sound, fall down and worship the statue. Whoever does not will be thrown into the blazing furnace. The day arrived. Thousands gathered, the music exploded, and everyone fell face down. Everyone except three. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stood upright, eyes fixed on heaven. They were reported to the king and dragged into his presence. Nebuchadnezzar, eyes blazing with fury. Is it true you do not serve my gods or worship the statue? I'll give you one last chance. When the music plays, bow down. If not, into the furnace. And what God will deliver you out of my hand? The three answered firmly, O king, we do not need to defend ourselves. Our God is able to deliver us from the furnace and from your hand. But even if he does not, know this: we will not serve your gods or worship the gold statue. The king's rage erupted. Heat the furnace 7 times hotter. He ordered them bound and thrown in. The heat was so intense, the soldiers who tossed them in died in the flames. The fire roared like a living beast. Nebuchadnezzar stepped forward to watch his victory and froze. Did we not throw 3 men bound into the fire? Yes, O king, but I see 4 men unbound, walking in the fire, unharmed, and the 4th looks like a son of the gods. The king shouted, voice trembling, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out, come here. They came out. Not a hair was singed, no smell of smoke on their clothes. Nebuchadnezzar proclaimed, blessed be their God, who sent his angel and rescued his servants. I decree that anyone who speaks against this God will be cut to pieces. There is no other God who can deliver like this. The crowd roared. The miracle echoed across the empire. But for Nebuchadnezzar, the recognition was still shallow. The pride was not uprooted. Years passed. The king walked through the hanging gardens at night, restless. Signs from Daniel's God troubled him, but he took them as proof of his own greatness. Then came the second dream. Lying in his royal bed, Nebuchadnezzar saw a massive tree in the center of the earth. A strong trunk, its crown touching the heavens, branches covering the world, abundant fruit feeding nations, animals beneath its shade, birds in its limbs, life pulsing everywhere. He watched with pride until a holy voice thundered from heaven, cut down the tree, chop off its branches, strip its leaves, scatter its fruit, let the animals flee and the birds fly away. But leave the stump with its roots in the ground, bound with iron and bronze. Let it be drenched with the dew of heaven. Let him live with the animals of the field until 7 times pass over him, until he acknowledges that the Most High rules the kingdom of men and gives it to whomever he chooses. The king woke in terror, trembling. Bring Daniel. Daniel came. The king told the dream, voice shaking. Daniel went pale. O king, if only this dream were for your enemies. But the tree is you. Your kingdom has grown to the ends of the earth, but the Most High has decreed. You will be driven away from people. You will live with the animals. You will eat grass like an ox. The dew will soak your body for 7 times until you acknowledge that heaven rules. But the stump remains. Your kingdom will be restored when you acknowledge this. Daniel pleaded, O king, accept my advice. Turn from sin, practice justice, show mercy to the poor. Perhaps God will prolong your peace. Nebuchadnezzar listened, but did not obey. Pride spoke louder. 12 months later, a clear day, the king stood on the palace roof, looking out over Babylon, shining walls, hanging gardens, temples, rivers of people. He spread his arms and shouted, his voice echoing across the city, Is this not the great Babylon I have built as my royal residence, by my mighty power and for the glory of my majesty?" The words were still on his lips, when a voice from heaven thundered, "Nebuchadnezzar, the kingdom has departed from you. You will be driven away from people. You will live with the animals of the field. You will eat grass like an ox. 7 times will pass until you acknowledge that the Most High rules." In that exact moment, judgment fell. The king's eyes, once filled with arrogance, stared blankly. His face changed, his body shook violently. He let out a guttural roar, not human. He tore off his royal robe with his own hands, ripping it as if it burned. He dropped to all 4s on the palace roof as the guards watched in horror. They tried to hold him. He threw them off with beast-like strength, snarling, eyes wild. Reason fled. Madness took over. Driven from the palace, not by men but by divine decree, Nebuchadnezzar fled into the fields around the city. And there, the most terrible transformation began. His hair grew long and matted like eagle feathers. His beard became thick and tangled. His fingernails and toenails curled and hardened like claws. Naked, dirty, he crawled through the earth. He ate raw grass like cattle. He drank the morning dew that soaked his body day after day. At night, he howled at the moon. He ran with wild animals. His mind, once filled with strategies and decrees, became fog. Broken memories mixed with primitive instincts. Shepherds saw him from far away and whispered in fear, "Is that the great Nebuchadnezzar, the conqueror of the world? Now he lives like a beast." Months became years, 7 times, 7 years of total humiliation. Rain fell on him, sun scorched his skin. Night cold made him shake. No royal comfort, no servants, no throne. The man who thought he was a god, reduced below the animals. But God in his mercy did not abandon him forever. One clear morning, as the sun rose golden over the fields, something changed. Nebuchadnezzar, lying on damp grass, lifted his eyes to heaven. For the first time in 7 years, the fog lifted. Reason returned like light breaking through darkness. He whispered, "The Most High, heaven rules." He fell face down, weeping. True repentance flooded his broken soul. "I, Nebuchadnezzar, bless the King of heaven. Everything he does is right. He humbles those who walk in pride." The guards, watching from a distance, saw it. "The king is himself again." They ran to the city. The news spread like wildfire. He was brought back to the palace, washed, dressed, shaved. When he stepped into the throne room, he was no longer the same man. His eyes now carried humility, his voice, gratitude. Before the gathered court, he proclaimed, "I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and exalt the King of heaven. His dominion is eternal. His kingdom endures from generation to generation. All the inhabitants of the earth are as nothing before him. He does as he pleases in the host of heaven and among the peoples of the earth. No one can restrain his hand or say, 'What have you done?' Now my understanding has returned to me. My honor and splendor have been restored. My counselors sought me out. I was restored to my throne, and even greater greatness was added to me. Therefore I decree, throughout my empire, people must fear and tremble before the God of Daniel. His kingdom is eternal. His power endures forever. He rescues and saves. He performs signs and wonders in heaven and on earth." Babylon saw a king transformed, fairer laws, mercy for the poor, honor to the true God. And the story of Nebuchadnezzar was recorded not as legend, but as living testimony. Pride leads to ruin, but the one who lifts his eyes to heaven finds restoration. So tell me, my brother, my sister, did this story move you? Nebuchadnezzar had everything and lost everything because of pride. But when he humbled himself, God restored him. And you? Where is your heart today? Are there areas of pride God is calling you to break? Leave a comment. What part impacted you most? The statue dream, the furnace, or the madness in the field? Comment now, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, hit like if you were blessed, and subscribe for more Bible stories that change lives. God bless you powerfully. See you in the next video.